everyone, Abby here with ScrappinAbby, and I have a really exciting video to share with all of you today. Nick the Booksmith has created her first ever design team, and she had reached out to me and asked if I wanted to be a part of that team, and I was like, yes, yes, and yes. If you're not familiar with Nick the Booksmith, she is a booksmith, and she makes custom tomes and books and journals on her YouTube channel, and her work is absolutely gorgeous. She is so good at this, and I've been a fan of hers for quite some time, probably close to a year by now when I first came across her, and I've watched all of her videos, and she just has a fabulous way of explaining the story and the meaning behind each of her books that she creates. She does do custom orders, and she also creates different books that she just puts in her Etsy shop or on eBay. And I of course will have the link to Nick's channel below, as well as her Etsy shop link. So before we get into my traveler's notebook to show you the insert, just a couple things I want to say real quickly. So the name of Nick's first ever, design team kit, so to speak, it's the Booksmith Planner Kit for Junk Journalers, and it's $12.95 for 22 digital pages, available immediately because it's a digital download. And I went through and I wrote down some notes over there that when I get to show you the pages inside my insert I made, there are several pages that have 4 images on one sheet. Some have 6, some, it's a ton of different images. So you're not getting just one single image or something. There's always going to be at least 2, unless it's like a full lined page that you would fold in half, of course. So this is my Foxy Fix number 7, and it's in Lilac because I'm obsessed with everything purple. So some people may not like how thick this is or chunky it is, and how you can see the edges of the papers past the cover. This is exactly what I like, and all of my other traveler's notebooks that I have look exactly the same way, as well as my ring bound planners, and I like that look. I like the thick, chunky, and everything. So I wanted to create a really special project using her design team, her new planner kit for junk journalers, and I also want to make something special for myself to go in this particular traveler's notebook. This is what I use every single day. Anytime I travel, this goes with me, whether it's out of the US, across the states, just out of town. I always have this with me. This is what I use to document everything surrounding my facial pain, appointments, medications. I have a daily journal that I write in here to kind of say how my day went, what that kind of stuff. And so I really created a fun, really usable journal for myself. It's really customizable, her kit, and I just love that. So I'm going to go ahead and get on into the insert. I'll let you take a peek at what it looks like in my journal here, my traveler's notebook. So this is one of the cover pages, and I'll kind of go into detail as I did each thing once I do like an official flip through, because I do want to take it out of the traveler's notebook so I can kind of pick it up and show you a little bit better. So this is what it looks like. This is another one I made out of something else, but this is the insert here, and I have used almost every single page. Some are doubled, some are tripled, and this is how thick and chunky this is. I love it. I love it. Love all the distressing and the warbled pages, because I printed some of her images out on coffee dye paper, and they print beautifully. So I'm going to go ahead and take this out of my Foxy Fix, so it's a little bit easier to kind of do a flip through. Okay, set this off to the side. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and zoom in a little bit so we can get a closer look at this. But this is what it looks like when it is out of my traveler's notebook. Now with her kit, you can create, a insert like I did. You can create an actual book. You can make yourself a spiral bound one, and it can also go into the ring bound planners. The possibilities and different combinations of how you can use this junk journaling planner kit. There's so many ways you can customize it by, maybe printing off a certain amount of some of the bullet journalings. Maybe you're a bullet journaler. She does have some bullet journaling components in this kit too. So what I did is, you can see I put some of the Tim Holtz Distress Crazy Medium on here, and it gave it a really, really cool kind of crackly look. And I printed this on some of my coffee stain paper, and then I think this cover, the cover is just absolutely gorgeous, so pretty. So what I chose to use for the spine, this is actually one of the lace bits that's on one of her embellishment pages, and I just printed this. I did an iron transfer because I was actually out of my fabric paper. So I just did an iron transfer and transferred this onto a piece of muslin, and it worked perfectly. And I just love how that looks. I distressed the edges of it, and I added some different sprays and inks. Now, you of course can do that if you'd like. You can even distress it more, or you can keep it just like it is when you print it off. That's what's so cool about this. And then the back side is the same thing, same cover. I just printed it off twice. And then I have hanging down here a couple little charms. These are from Tim Holtz. They say believe and breathe, and there are specific reasons why I chose these two. Because this is going into my facial pain journal, I like to have positive affirmations around me. So I love the whole breathe, like just take a breath, Abby, and just breathe. And then I can come in here and journal in my notebook. And then the other one, which is believe, because I truly believe that one day there will be a cure for the facial pain that I have. So that's why I chose those two particular little charms. So now we're going to get into the front cover, and this is what I chose to do for the front cover. And what this fabric is, it's a bit of muslin. That's what I used to kind of make the whole outside of the book. So that's what you're going to be seeing right here. And I did some inking and all that. Now I will have in the description box below a full list of all the inks and different supplies that I used, because I really want this video to focus on the actual kit itself and not so much all the extra embellishments that I did to add to her kit. So this is one of the pages that comes in the various different kits. I tore this, did some inking, and then made that like a little tuck spot here in the front cover. So this is from one of the gorgeous pages from the one of the different embellishment and ephemera kits that come in this. Just beautiful. And then what I did is I backed it onto a piece of cardstock, and this is one of the journaling pages. I just cut that down to size, and these little strips you see right here, when I was cutting all the different components down, I kept all the paper strips because I wanted to use them to embellish within the journal. And that just kind of goes back in, tucked in there. This is one of the embellishments that you can print off. I printed this again on iron transfer, so it mimics fabric. Made this into a tuck spot or little pocket. Again, this is another image. You'll see this one throughout the journal, because I printed off a couple different ones. This is one of the page tabs. Again, this was printed off as an iron transfer, so it feels just like a fabric-y kind of feel, and I like that. And then I just did a little sewing and put this pocket on the front. And I'm going to zoom in just a little bit closer. There we go. And then each page is inked and distressed with different inks and things like that. This is a gorgeous coffee ring that she has put on her digital image. And then here is another really, really pretty page. This is what you saw on the front cover, but I didn't put any embossing stuff on that one. Here, this is actually from a different kit of Nick's, but I will leave a link to this one as well. So this is just one of the pieces here. This is from her planner kit. That is one of the tabs again. And on this side I can do some journaling or whatever it is I'd like to do. I made another little pocket. This is also one of the, another one of those paper strips. I just used that just to add as an embellishment. I mean, I didn't really have to pull out of my stash too much, because I was able to incorporate a lot of these little strips and pieces left over. Just to kind of throw that out there in case, you haven't thought of doing that, or you can really make this kit go a long way by doing that. And you're going to see a lot of blank space, because I really wanted to have a lot of real estate where I could write down a lot, journaling and notes and things of that nature. This is one of the cool little mini file folder prints that you can print off there. Again, this is off one of the ledger pieces. Just did some inking here. This is the to-do shopping list, and you're going to see goals and gratitude. You'll see the other side once we get further into the book. Now, this right here, this is a tag that comes in one of the pages as well. I just made a cute little tuck spot, added some twine, and this is just a little Tim Holtz garment pin there. I doubled this up again. I used some cardstock, and this is one of the little squares off the different pages. It says notes. I mean, I just love that. The quill and the ink is just so cool. And then this is the back side of one of the coffee ring pages. so I can do some journaling or whatever I want to do there. Just tuck that back in real nice and neat. And then this is another part of the same paper line, and this is the ledger page. It's like a grungy ledger page. I will list and you know, like I said, the link to the actual kit, and before I end the video I will list off all of the different kits, different little, you know, folders and different images and things like that that come as the whole kit itself. I hope that made sense. So down here, this is one of the buttons, and what I did to make these look real, or trying to make it look real, like a real button, is that I just used some glossy accents and then crackle accents on some of them. I just did like a little collage bit here. This is another strip of that ribbon that I printed onto the iron-on, and I just kind of distressed it and kind of just sewn a little tiny you know, little component there. This is one of the bulldog clips from Tim Holtz. This is one of her gorgeous, gorgeous envelopes that you fold and put together yourself. I mean, this is just absolutely beautiful. And I wanted to color in the leaves and the flowers, so you're going to see this one more place, but this comes without being uncolored at all, so you can color it if you want to, or you can leave it alone. And so here is the envelope, and inside here are just more of the pages that I cut down to make little journaling cards. And there's even more room in here for me to add more if I want to do that, so, which is great because I probably will have to add more because I do like to journal a lot. And then here's another one of her pages. Some of these are printed out on coffee dye paper, and some are printed on some lilac lavenderish paper that I dyed myself. And you got, let me zoom in just a little bit, guys. Sorry about that, because there we go. Now we can kind of see the whole pages. So this really cute graphic journal here. This is another one of the mini file folders, and what I did is the same thing as I did earlier. Just took one of the images, printed on paper, just did a quick sewing job there, kind of a quick little kind of grungy look. And this is another image I cut out, fussy cut out of the paper, and then another one of her buttons and the page tabs. And all the page tabs are printed on that iron transfer. Here again is another little paper strip that I added just to kind of have a little accent of something on there. This is more of the ledger page. This one here is another example of me printing onto the iron transfer. This is a little bit, I printed off two, I believe, and then I just kind of cut them in half, and you can really make those go a long way within your journal. So here I just made a little collage, and I'll show you what this one looks like. This is just a little collage that I made of just some different scraps, and the notes is off of one of the pages. This is off a different page, so is this. And then I just added this with a little clip from Tim Holtz onto this lace little bit that I printed on the iron-on transfer. Again, here's another button, and this is part of a ledger page that I cut apart. Just made a little side pocket like that, and then here's another journaling spot. Just looks super cute, I think. I just love it. Love, love her, this kit. I just love it. And so here is another blank space for more writing. You have brain dump, meals to make, that kind of thing. And if you don't prepare your meals ahead of time, you can just cover this with a really pretty piece of the paper and then write your own idea if you want to. So it's very customizable. I typically don't meal plan that way. Our family's a little bit different, but like I said, I can always put something over here if I want to, and you know, make it something else, washi tape, whatever. What's the big idea? This made me happy. And then here we've got a Edison bulb. I love those. Here's another page with some more of the pretty floral, and I have some I think this one has the crackle accents. I think you can see that okay. Hope you can pick it up. And then just some more of the staining, which is part of her digital image. Again, the coffee ring and some more of the green floral. This is one of the pages. This has some Nick stuff attached to it, but when you see these pages, those are just mine that I sprayed myself. But I embellished them again with more of her different components. So this is another page I cut out one of the other pages, and then it's going to give me lots of journaling space, and I can definitely add more in here if I want to do that. Here's another one of her file folders. I think I printed off 4 because I really like them. They're fun to incorporate in here. Again, just another button with some of the stapling from my tiny attacher. That's kind of like my thing, is like I at least put 3 staples on most of my projects. And then this, of course, is another one of those paper file tabs. that's on the transfer. So this is a napkin out of my hoard vault. I love it because I'm so obsessed with purple. So what I did is I just taped a section down here, and then I made like a little pocket, and these are more of the images that I cut out. So like I said, I printed out several of some, just one of another, and that kind of thing. Just depended on what I wanted my journal to look like. So you could do the same and just make it really customizable. Here's another piece of the paper strip right there, and another example of the lined paper with the coffee ring here. I love the splotches on here. You don't even have to distress this if you don't want to, because it's already done for you. And then here's another little collage-y bit. This is several layers of different things from the kit. So this is a leftover piece of the lace that I put on the iron transfer. Some more of the, this is off the cover because I printed two. So that's the suite that you see right here on the front cover. And then I have two more of the buttons, and then I actually hole punched them and ran some vintage string that I have through them. So just really easy to customize it. What you're seeing here is one of the little charms that I showed you that has the word breathe on that one. I just kind of loop that over the page. That's kind of how I make a bookmark for myself. And here again is another bit of the paper, and I printed this one on cardstock because I want it to be a little bit more firm and kind of more secure than using just one of my thinner pieces of paper that I dyed. And underneath here is another scrap of my coffee dyed paper, but I just cut apart again from another page from her collection and just put a little bit there, did some inking. And then on the inside you're going to see more of her design work. And then I have all of this space right here to document. You know, I can do some doodling for craft projects. Just the possibilities are just endless for this kit. Here again, this was printed on my paper I colored myself. I love that Edison bowl. That is just so cool. Okay, and you're going to see some of the pages repeated here because I printed off, like I said, more than one. This is on my paper, and this middle section is really, I really like this middle section because this is the center of the insert now, the journal. So what I did is I used my, and you'll see this further on in the book, I used my tag maker from Tim Holtz, and I took some of the different paper scraps that I had and made it a tag. So one side has that one, and this side has another bit. So I can write on these if I want to, or it can just be completely decorative, which, you know, which I did. Because I actually sewed, or when I did the stitching, I actually stitched that into the book. Now what you're looking at here, that looks like it's all shiny. So you can see that this is one of the weekly pages. I cut this in half, so one half's here, the other half is on the other side of this. I put on here some lined acetate sheet that you can see in the with the light there, because I'm turning this portion into a reusable calendar, so to speak, because I have fine line dry erase pens, and this is acetate, and you can use a dry erase marker on acetate and you can wipe it off and kind of start over. And I made mine go up above the day of the week because that gave me room to write, you know, the day, like, I don't know, like September 22nd or whatever, and then I can just kind of erase it as I go. There's some spots for putting some different notes or whatever you'd like. Just added some lace there, or a lacy trim that I have. This is another one of the envelopes, but this one I printed in cardstock. Use another one of my napkins, and I'll pull these out. So these are the different days of the week. You get Sunday through Saturday. I printed these on cardstock and I double back them. So all of these have space on the back side for me to journal or do whatever it is I want to do with them. And you can just tuck them back in there. And again, the reason I printed this one on cardstock is just so I had a little bit more stability with the paper, because I'll be taking things in and out from there. Now, the reason why, let me back up and explain this to you, it is because with my facial paint, there are some things I can't eat. Some days I can't eat at all. Some days I'm only getting my calorie intake in by drinking or like eating, you know, super soft foods like Jello, things like that. So what I can do is kind of keep track here and be like, okay, on Monday I was able to eat, you know, a piece of toast, and then in the afternoon I was only able to have, you know, like a bowl of, you know, oatmeal or whatever, something like that. and I can change that because I'm going to have the dry erase on there. So that's how I plan on using this for me. You could completely customize this as you want to. Maybe make it into your family meal planning or your grocery shop, your grocery list. But that's how I'm going to incorporate this because I want this to be functional for the purpose of my Foxy Fix notebook that I shared with you. I am just in love with her envelopes. This is such a pretty graphic. And again, this is my napkin I kind of collaged in there. So just, that is not come with that image on it. This is the inside of that mini file folder. And then I just cut down some more of her ledger paper. And I used the last little bit of that lace image that I printed on the transfer. I keep saying that. I'm so sorry. I just want to explain how it looks differently than other parts, because you can, be looking at this, I can tell it's kind of got like a little bit of a sheen to it, and I just wanted to explain that so whenever you go to print this off, you're like, wait a second, mine doesn't look like that. So that's why I'm telling you that. And then here I just cut down. These were actually on the same page like this. This was one whole big 8.5 by 11, and I cut it down to fit into here like I wanted it to. So I can write on the back goals, just all kinds of things you can use this for. And this is for plans. I just ran a piece of my washi tape down the center because I happen to like that look when I work in the middle pages of my journals that I create. You of course don't have to, you can do what you like. Here's the back side of the file folder, and now we're going to be moving towards the last part of the journal. So here's the other half of that acetate sheet that I was just telling you about. And oh, I did want to point out too that on these here, these are from a totally different piece of paper. Is this the one? Yeah. And I fussy cut this one out so you can kind of see through it. The same thing with this one here. I just kind of fussy cut this out of the corner of the paper. And then again, just my purple lace trim there. And let's get these apart. And this is the back side of the paper. Again, more journaling space, idea space. Again, the same basic idea. More of the ledger paper. This is a bookmark I made using two different, this actually from the same paper, but I doubled them like back to back. This one I also added some of the, well, this is the Tim Holtz Distress, the Crazy, what I used on the front cover. So I thought that was kind of a cool effect. And it's protected, too. It's not going to like rip and tear or anything like that because it's covered with that crazy medium. So I just kind of tucked that there. Actually, I like looking at the ruler side. I think that's pretty looking, so I put that like that. Again, just more space. This is the other half of the page marker that I made there. Another little collagey bit. I am really, really loving all these little collagey bits too. So just some more of the elements from her collection. And same thing here. Back of the file folder. Just more journaling space. What's the big idea? This made me happy. This is, oops, I missed a page. Here's Brain Dump, Meals to Make. What's the big idea? This made me happy. I love this because this is very appropriate for what I'm using this journal for. And then again, one of my pieces that I colored. And then we're just now obviously going to be seeing the back, the other side of all the papers I showed you earlier. So I'll make that a little bit quicker. And here's one of the pockets again on the back. And I think it's really cool when you can print on an iron transfer, or if you can do it on leather or fabric. It just kind of gives it a different look than being just flat on the paper, which is fine too. I just wanted to kind of mix it up and play with it a little bit. So that's why I did that. File folder again. Here is another one of the pockets. This is one of her digis from a different kit, but I wanted to include that because I liked how it kind of worked with this kit as well. And here's the back side, and this is one of the images. So very cool. And like I said, I will be sure to link this kit along with the other kit, the one that's the planner kit. And then again, this one's a fun piece. Just use another one of the Bulldog clips from Tim Holtz. This I printed off on cardstock and backed it up as well. I just think this is so pretty. I just love this bird image. And that's what it looks like here. In the back side, I have lots of space to write and journal. And then underneath is another page of the ledger paper. Again, and on this one, I just made a really quick little kind of half pocket tuck spot, whatever you want to call it. These are some, this is from that last paper kit that I just showed you, this piece here. This all comes from that same kit here. But I love the today, remember when, don't forget. So I really wanted to incorporate these pieces because I wanted to kind of share with you, kind of give you a visual that you can really play with the other kits that Nick has in her shop, her Etsy shop, and kind of mix them in with, you know, her new planner kit. So that was the purpose of sharing that. This is another one of the little tags that I made from the Tim Holtz tag press, and that's the front side, and the front and the back is the same material. And then I just made another little pocket here, and just again just kind of cut down some of the gold sheets, and I double backed them so I'd have a lot of room to do that. And then I just added some more layering. This is more of that lace trim, and then some of the card strips there. Just really kind of wanting to sprinkle as much as I can with this particular kit. You can just, it's very versatile, I think. And here's the back side again, another one of the mini file folders. And then now we're to the almost last page. There's that one. And then on the back here, I basically repeated what I did on the front. This one has the crazy medium on it, or the gloss, excuse me, the crackle accents. And then I took this envelope here, and this is another one of the envelopes. Oops, let me get it out there. And I colored this again and open this one, and what's inside here are just more of the images. Now this is what I use for the ruler. I cut this part, and backed it together. And there's that tag you saw earlier for a tuck spot. I just cut it in half, and then I have some room to write in there if I choose to. And this this is the coffee ring one, but I shrunk it down a little bit so I could have this as a smaller piece to write on. So let's tuck those back in here. And again, there's enough room in this on these envelopes. I mean, look how much space you have. So you could put, you know, way more than just the two that I have in there. And it's going to kind of tuck that back in its spot there. And then here is the last little collage piece that I made right on the bottom there. So I hope that I explained it well enough, the different components that I used in this kit. Sorry if I was a little bit repetitive, but I just really want to kind of, you know, just express how you can totally use this journal kit for so many different purposes. It does not have to be just for like a strict planner. So the different, the name of the different, because it's a 22-page kit, so each, some of the different folders are 4 different types under one section and that kind of thing. So there's a bullet journaling that she did, and you get 2 graphs or images per sheet. And for the goal tracker, you get 4 sections on each page. Now we're talking about 8.5 by 11. And let me grab one that I have printed off so I can show that to you. Oh, just getting my bag here real quick. Where did I put that? I'm going to pause this for a quick second because I really want to show you what they look like. I'll be right back. Okay, sorry about that. These were actually right in front of my face. So I just have my extra pieces stored in this bag for now, but I want to show you, you know, the different pages and stuff. And so I printed all of mine out on just white cardstock, and then I just inked and everything as I needed to. So like for example, the 2 buttons are missing because I put them in that journal, but on this particular page right here, this is the embellishments and Booksmith planner. This is how many different images you're going to get on just one page. One page. So what I did here is I cut this down the middle, and then I was able to, I printed 2, and then I was able to really incorporate this throughout my book, my journal. So these are, I didn't incorporate these last little bits, the bullet journaling in here, but you definitely could do that. And I'm going to actually be using these in my next project I make. So you've got this whole grid there. You get 2 on that sheet. And here we have, you know, a tracker for doctor appointments and, oh, wait, is that for doctor appointments? Yeah. Is that right? Oh, no, I'm sorry. This is the, this is not for that. I apologize. I messed that one up. So I didn't use that one either. So that one wasn't in my book. Or I keep wanting to call it a book, my journal. And this one I used. I cut it apart. These are, this is what the sheet looks like for the What's the Big Idea? This Made Me Happy brain dump. And this is another one where I cut off the word that said notes, and I used it in one of my little collage bits. So you have this one as well. So when you print these out, you do have a lot of different images on one page. It's not just, you know, and I use some of this as well. And then here is part of this suite where I cut that out on one of those other collage pieces that I had. And then these are just little scraps. And so I keep these because I can use them in future projects and journals and such, like I did in when I just add little strips on the side of each page. So let me get back to reading off the different ones. So you have the goal tracker. You get 4 sections on each 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. There's covers embellishment. There's covers, embellish, and tabs folder. Lined journal pages, and these are H papers lined with florals. Journal here and notes and planning goals ledger. The monthly, you get a layout, notes, planning goals, ledger with calendar, and a side month with ledger. The postal to-dos mind map, it's a bird cage with the brain dump, cards, and pages. Goals to do, gratitude, shopping, grungy receipts, mind maps, and postal page. Weeklies will be a 1 week blocked 2 pages, 1 week vertical with a grungy letter, and then 2 weeks 1 page ledger. And on the covers embellishment tabs folder, you get there's 4 sheets just underneath that category, and they have multiple edges, just like the one I just showed you with the buttons and the lace and little pockets and such. So I hope you enjoyed this little journal that I created for myself, but more importantly, I hope you enjoyed and loved the digital images that Nick has put together for this kit. And I really tried to find as many ways that I could to incorporate all the different components, with the exception of a few of the pages I showed you, into this journal. And I tried to use them in different ways as much as possible, because I just wanted to show how versatile this kit really is. So I just love this. I'm really excited to use this in my traveler's notebook. And there are 5 other creative designers that are on Nick's team, so I will be sure to, once they get their videos uploaded to their channels, I will go find them, and then I will add them to the description box. So if you don't see that in those listings there, please check back, because we are all in different places. And one of the gals, Tracy Fox, she's actually in the UK, so it'll be a different time frame for her. Nick is going to be putting up her video showing you the Booksmith Planner Kit for junk journals in more detail. And once she gets hers up, then I will come back and edit again. I'm on the East Coast, so I'm going to get mine up before they do. But just please keep checking back for that if you can, because I really want you to check out all the other ladies, their videos. I'm really excited to see how they interpreted the same kit that I got into their different projects. So thanks everybody again. Be sure to check out the description box. There's going to be a lot of information in there. And I'm really excited, because I am such a fan of Nick, and it's an awesome honor to be able to design for her using her beautiful images and digital packets that she puts together. So thanks so much everybody for watching. Happy scrapping, happy planning, and happy crafting, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!